Well, hello everybody. We'll wait a few minutes for people to turn up, but I think we're live. First person on, can we have an audio check? That would be lovely. Stream looks good. Let's have a look. Says it's nice and healthy. Joy, hello, welcome. Fantastic, thank you very much. And looks like the reminder's gone out for everybody. So Joy, it looks like it's just me and you. And Kim, the moderator. Say hello, hello, Kim. Red Walrus, hello, how are you? Johnny, volume 88. Fantastic, thanks, Johnny. Amber Lynn, we got the Wabbit Slayer. Robert. Faye. Joy. Oh, she's back again, yeah. Hi, Kim. Kim's not there. Where are you, Kim? Where's my moderator? Maya? Oh, there she is. And a big special hello to Anna, who's watching from the UK, one of our friends. Oh, excuse me. Haven't had my morning coffee. Oh, Mickey D. Cold in Tassie, yes. I can imagine. It's 2 degrees here. I can imagine how cold it is down there, mate. I Foolish One, hello, how are you? Okay, so we'll just start the show with the intro, and then I'll be back in a jiffy. Well, g'day, curd nerds. G'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Okay, I'm back. And the Wabbit Slayer. I've watched every video in the last 2 weeks, some of them all at once. I'm stoked to try to make cheese. Fantastic news. Hope you've got some good equipment and some... Sort my collar out, apparently. The moderator's come in and told me something. There we go. Oh, do I look better? Oh, whatever. I don't care. Anyway, all the Gavins. How many Gavins we got? You're stoked making my own cheese. Sorry, I'll get back to it. Yes, that was all the Gavin saying, g'day, curd nerds. I could have gone on for ages because there's so many videos, but I thought I'd cut it short at 5 or so. Santiago, how are you? Good morning. I thought you'd be on this afternoon's show, mate. We got Amaranthum from the US in Florida. And we got Dr. Hans Brewery. Thank you very much, mate. Okay, before we start, depends on how fast the... Oh, my tea lady's here. Excuse me. Thank you. Don't get this any other way, do you? It's all live. Oh, yummy. It's my cup of coffee for the morning. Where was I up to? A few things, just a quick housekeeping. Depends on how generous you're feeling today. Super chat is always an option. Remember down there, the little, whoops, where is it? Down there, the $signy thing. If you want to put a chat up that I'll actually notice, not that I don't notice all the other ones, of course, but one that that will stick up at the top of the bar. Oh, God, it's all back the front. Top of the little chat bar, and I'll get to it quick smart. Anyway, just before we start the questions, and I got everybody going on here, I've just got a quick few cheesy facts to share. So there's been some concern that the channel's been losing focus. This is from recent comments that I've seen on the channel, and mark my words, it is not. I'll just show you a few little things that I've been up to. So first of all, here is a double Gloucester that I made over the weekend. Looking quite orangey. I don't know if I put enough anato on it. Double Gloucester traditionally has, looks very orange. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's made in the same style as cheddar, so there is some cheddaring and stuff. And that video will be up Sunday morning my time, Saturday US time, Saturday afternoon. One of the other things I've been up to is I've been making a Bloomy Goat Blue. Now, before I show you the video of this, it's one of my, well, not failures so far. It seems to be working all right. But anyway, I'll just show you in a second. This will just have a quick look. So as you can tell, have a look at the stuff that's pouring out the bottom. This is a goat's cheese, and yeah, it didn't all go to plan. It was a little bit too soft. It looks like it's just pouring out the bottom. It's actually not. It was the top layer was so soft it decided to seep through the camembert hoops. Not the best thing. Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened. But anyway, I think I didn't add enough rennet because the recipe I was using must have had rennet with a higher IMCU, or International Milk Coagulating Unit. I was using 200 IMCU. But yeah, so this was over the course of 6 hours. Well, that wasn't 6 hours worth, but that was only a few hours of filling up the camemberts. And it's cheese making is a labour of love, as you can see there, and patience. They're still sitting, those two little bloomy cheeses. I've called it Bloomy Goat Blue because not only does it have white mold white mold, it also has Penicillium Rock 40. So it's going to be quite a wonderful little cheese. There's just a couple of things I wanted to share. Hopefully that Bloomy Goat Blue will be out soon. Today I'm making the tofu, and I think Leah Bear was wanting to see the tofu. I know it's not technically cheese, but I've got my soya milk all prepared, and we'll go and see what happens. I've also got the vegan cheese kits that I've been waiting for, and they have arrived. So I've got to find myself some raw cashews, I think, and we'll get into it. Anyway, so let's get on with the questions, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Before I do, I'll have a quick sip. Okay, first question, where are we? Is not my social security number. Where are we? Where's your new Cheeseman? Long time you didn't do that. Where's your new Cheeseman? I just showed them. That was from Hamid Zorbeck. I was never aware that this was live at 12 in the night in Denmark. Anyway, I love your videos. Thanks, mate. William, g'day from Niagara Falls. Slow. Right, first question. Is whole milk in the USA same as Aussie milk? Will your recipes work the same here as there? Yes. Yes, they will. Whole milk, if I believe what I've read on the internet, and sometimes you just can't, you know. Whole milk in the US is 3.25% fat. Here in Australia, we have what's known as full cream milk. Bit of a deceptive title. Just means it's got all its cream, but in essence, it really doesn't. The fat content is usually about 3.4%. And anyone who's been in the dairy industry for a while knows that fat percent of milk, or butter fat, it's known as, can range from about 3.8, maybe a little bit less, but 3.8 to about 4.2 for cows. So what they're essentially doing is standardizing the milk. They're skimming some of the cream off and using those for other products like butter, whipping cream, stuff like that, and give you a substandard product in the end. So whole milk / Full cream milk, it's the same. It's a standardized milk from many dairies, and they've made it exactly the same. So it's not from a single source. So hopefully that answers your question, Wabbit Slayer. Okay. Johnny says, what's your favourite of the English cheeses to make? The favourite as in the most fun to make. That double Gloucester I made was pretty good fun. Leicester is a good one to make. Cheddar was certainly an experience. When I cloth banded it, probably that didn't go too well, but the final product after a year was just absolutely amazing as far as taste-wise goes. And one of my absolute favourites is Caerphilly, which is technically not English, it's Welsh. It's a Welsh cheese, even though nowadays it's sold in the UK all over. So there's some of my favourites. Thanks for asking, Johnny. Ace99, what's the best cheese to make for the first time? Funny you should ask. I recently taught a cheese making class on Saturday. So that's some of the other things I do, obviously. And Nick and Vesna were my two students, husband and wife combo. Lovely people. And the cheeses they made for the first time, the very first rennet or sweet curd cheese was halloumi. They made that for the first time. And they made sweet ricotta, which is better known as whole milk ricotta. And they also made paneer. And they actually salted the paneer, which is not standard practice, but they salted it, and it actually was just a eating cheese, very similar to something from their native country in Serbia. So there's some cheeses to make the first time. Joy, I'm going to ask for your favourite cheese, your most hated cheese, and how do you feel about fly maggot cheese? I'm having a difficult time finding moulds like a 1 pound mould. So 1 pound, 450 grams roughly. Okay, Joy, I've done the favourite one of late. Ooh, would be double brie. Now, I haven't made it myself. I'm going to get around to that. So we'll go from there, and I'll make some soon. See how these bloomy goat blues go first. My most hated cheese, I would say St. Marcelin, but it was overripe. It wasn't the cheese itself, it was just me. And I don't like the fly maggot cheese. Thank you very much. 1 pound moulds, if you can afford the shipping, we have 800 gram moulds, which would suit you down to a T. It has a lovely follower. Kim can put a link to the 800 gram hard cheese mould if she's got time from banning all these people, but I can see in the chat. Okay, so hopefully that helps. And if worse comes to worse, jump on Amazon. They might have something. And let me think. Where's somewhere else you get it? New England Cheesemaking Supply has a very large range of molds or baskets. Okay. Thunder Soldier, morning, Mr. Cheeseman. Chilly today. Yes, it is. It's 2 degrees, I think. Let me just check my thermometer. 3.8. It's a lovely balmy 3.8 degrees outside. Jenny, smile. I made some halloumi. It floated really quickly. Yeah, Jenny, it depends on how hard you press the cheese, how dense it is to start with. And that depends on when it sinks. Like I said, we're making halloumi on Saturday, and the first one floated at about 5 minutes, which is okay. It's no big deal. It just means it's done. And the last one floated at 30 minutes. So a very broad range of floating times for halloumi. So don't be too fussed. Probably tastes fantastic. It's all on the taste. It's not how you make it. So I certainly don't have any issues there. Okay, where are we up to? Unicycle Peon. Big fan of non-melting cheese, paneer, queso, panella. Do you make the... Yes, there's a paneer video. Go and check the back catalogue. Kim, if you've got a link to the paneer video, you can share that for Unicycle Peon. Why didn't the cheese want to be sliced? Oh, there's a joke in there. So it had greater plans. Hilarious. Mahama, good morning. Can I ask you, if I don't have a starter culture and I'm using fresh milk, are there different steps in doing the cheese? Morning from sunny morning from Egypt. Yes. Go grab yourself a copy of The Art of Natural Cheese Making by David Asher, which we've actually got some in store now. We bought some in. I think we're in one of two bookstores actually selling, not that we're a bookstore, two bookstores here in that we can find online that are actually selling it for a decent price. Kefir grains are great for a starter. Buttermilk's good for a starter. The cultured milk, not the liquid from butter. Also, yogurt can be used as a starter, thermophilic culture. So there's a few options there. Johnny, me and the lady are looking to potentially make some cheeses for the first time. What is the least labour intensive and one that's easy to make working around kids? Ricotta. It's a good start. Not the tastiest of cheeses, but great in some dishes and stuff like that. But fetta's easy. Not very labour intensive. Only 20 minutes of stirring. Halloumi's 15 minutes of stirring for a renneted cheese, and it tastes amazing once you fry it in a saganaki pan and put a bit of lemon juice on top. Quite amazing. Dr. Hans Brewery, I'm trying to make ricotta from whey today. Did not work. Heated up about 3 litres of whey, some milk, 93 added, half a DL. What's a DL? Of vinegar. Waited 15 minutes. Did not curd up as it should. What cheese did you use the whey from? And we'll get to that because there's quite a lot of stuff down here to read. If it was from a pasta filata cheese like ricotta or something like that, or any acid set cheeses, you won't get much. Really, there is hardly any protein in some of the wheys. If it's not really cloudy whey, you won't get much ricotta from it. Why won't ultra pasteurized milk work? Thanks, Steve, for your question. It's because it's been super heat treated. Ultra pasteurized, I think they take it up to about, I think it's 98 degrees Celsius. So they flash heat it for about 2 seconds, something like that. So essentially, they're nearly boiling the milk, and then they chill it down to 4 degrees Celsius within a couple of seconds as well. So it's really wrecked the protein structure of the milk, and therefore it won't set a curd. Very similar to ultra heat treated or UHT milk. Very hard to set a curd. In fact, it's almost impossible. The only cheese that you can make with UHT milk, well, in my experience anyway, is ricotta, and a sweet ricotta, and it's very acidic because you have to add a lot of vinegar to it, unfortunately. Faye says, I would love to figure out how to make fontina cheese. I'll pop it on my list, Faye. Bit of research. Fontina. Okay, thanks for that suggestion. I foolish one. Tasted cow's feta without lipase was good. Have a tank, but not like real feta. Got some lipase now. Next batch. Love your vids. P.S. Those white bits get everywhere. The white bits. Just trying to figure out what white bits. Yes, they do. Little curd bits. They do get everywhere. Technically, cow's milk feta is not really feta because traditionally it's made with 70% sheep's milk, 30% goat's milk, or in some cases 100% goat's milk. And it does have that sharpness that the goat's milk adds. But yeah, you can add lipase. There is a recipe online there somewhere. The original cow's milk feta that I made turned out quite delicious. But the goat's milk one was far superior. So if you're looking to try to reproduce decent Greek or Bulgarian or anything from the Balkans, that sort of feta, then goat's milk and sheep's milk are probably best. Where are we up to? Back in my homeland, we were making cheese from the North Ossetia, Alania, Okay, is that the name of the cheese? I'm not too sure. Sorry, writing post. Righto. Mickey D asks, can you use brine from one cheese and then use it for another type? Mickey, that is a good question. Yes, you can. As long as your brine solution is over 18%, you'll find that the brine doesn't go cloudy itself. It stays nice and clear. All you do is make sure that you store it at 13 degrees Celsius in between sessions, and that way it avoids growing mold on top. Even if it grows a little bit of mold on top, like Penicillium Rock 40 or something like that, just skim that off and then just use a tea strainer and get any particulate matter um, out of the cheese, and you won't. Sorry, out of the brine, and you won't have any problem. I use it over and over, probably for about 5 goes, and then I throw it away, and then just make some more. Ace, what's the most expensive and the cheapest cheese to make in your opinion? What's the easiest and quickest? I would say the most expensive cheese to make would be reindeer cheese. Apparently in Lapland they make it, and it's about $90 for 100 grams of cheese. I would think human cheese, and I have read some stories that some boutique cafe in the US is actually making human cheese from expressed breast milk. That's very expensive to make as well. Cheapest cheese would be if you own a cow and you have the milk yourself, and you can make any cheese and it'll be cheap as. And the quickest and easiest to make, that old chestnut ricotta. If you want to make the easiest cheese in the planet, throw some bring the milk up to about 90 degrees Celsius, and throw some vinegar in it. Okay. Panika has said, we have made your paneer recipe, came out amazing. We use the old low 3-count sheet as our cheesecloth, super easy. No problems at all. I'm glad that helped. And I think that was a suggestion to use a tea towel or a sheet or something like that as your cheesecloth. Okay, we're going pretty fast. I'm about a page and a half behind. So if anybody has anything pressing, don't forget that you can do super chat down the bottom, little $sign, if you want to. Right, let me just get back into this. Jenny, I'm looking forward to seeing you make the tofu kit. Have you made any vegan cheese? That you came in a bit late, Jenny. Yes, I'm making the tofu today and videoing that. And vegan cheese. No, I've got a kit and I've got some instructions now. I probably could have got them offline, but I wanted to get the kit because I wanted to sell it as well. Business is business after all. So yes, I will be making some of those. I'm going to get some cashew nuts and make some vegan cheeses. Hopefully I can make some a camembert variety. I've seen there's a Facebook page called Cashew Bert, hails out of Germany. I don't have the link for it. I don't think Kim will be able to find it anyway. But Cashew Bert, go and search for that on Facebook. There's a little company in Germany that are actually showing people how to make camembert style cheeses from cashew nuts. So very vegan, and they actually make a cashew blue as well, which would be quite amazing. Igor, g'day Igor. I remember once you said that microbial rennet is made from genes from dead animals, or at the company from which I'm buying rennet, and they said there is absolutely no connection with animal products. I'm not sure what you mean by animal genes. Using pure vegetarian is quite important to me. Yeah, look, they take the chymosin. They do take one gene of thymosin. So technically, there are no animal products left in your rennet if you're using microbial rennet. That's the stance from the manufacturer, because that dies and is filtered out. What's left is pure chymosin, and they bottle it as such. So there are no animal products left. There's the initial gene that they take is from an animal of the chymosin. So go figure. That's the way they want to do it, and that's fine. But yeah, it's classed as vegetarian rennet because no animals were harmed except for one gene. The GMO, it's a genetically modified product. Who we got? Jean-Francois says, hi, Gavin. I'd like to make the same old cheddar you are doing. However, I'm wondering if you can find out how much pressure you put when you use the cheese press. I use a spring, a 50-pound spring, or what's that, 22.5 kilos. That's how much weight it takes to compress the spring. So technically I'm applying that much pressure when the spring is fully closed, 22 kilos. And that's what I press all of my old English cheeses at, English style cheeses, cheddar types, at that full compression. And they work out wonderfully, no problems at all. So that's how I know. And if the spring's half closed, I would guess it is about 11 kilograms or 25 pounds of pressure. So that's my very simple way. Cheese making doesn't have to be hard. Where we got, I'm going to have to, oh, goodness me, there's so many. What size is the basket you use when pressing your hard cheese? It looks bigger. Yeah, 6 inches across the top, which is 165 millimeters. And I'm not sure how tall it is. I think it's about 170 centimeters. Sorry, 117 centimeters. So 165 millimeters. Sorry, I'm losing my voice again. So, so that's the size. Kim, if you want to whack up, oh, she's probably already done it. There it is at 8:21. Well done, Kim. Jump on the gun there. No name provided. What are some of the best cheeses for short aging? Is there anything that needs to be aged? We're ready in a few weeks. Look, all fresh cheeses are ready the next day, so give them a go. Anything that, like queso fresco, the recipe I've got up online, ready in 6 hours. 6 hours. It's really good. Cream cheese, ready in the next day. Halloumi, ready to eat the same day. There's quite a few cheeses. Just check out the back catalogue. Just go and look at the simple cheeses or the Start Here playlist that I've got on the channel. And they're all the easy cheeses. Dr. Hand's Brewery, try to make ricotta from whey with mozzarella. That's the one. You won't be able to do it. The second time, blue cheese. Well, you'll be able to do blue cheese one. I don't know what the issue is. Not sure. I'll have to watch, unfortunately, to see what the issue is. Znavix, I love you. Thank you very much. I love your videos. Michael, love the show. The accent makes cheese better. I suppose it does. I've been told that I'm the, and this is not me saying it, this is a lot of people on YouTube, all the commenters said I'm the Bob Ross of cheese making. So apparently I've got that kind of voice. Anyway, hi-fi, I don't really have a good place to age my cheese, but do you use wine refrigerators as your aging location? I used to use a wine fridge. Now I don't because the temperature variation was too much. I use a normal bar fridge that I've got an external thermostat on. Kim will be able to provide the link for that somewhere on my cheese fridge. But I made a video called Beginner's Cheeses that you don't need a cheese fridge for. So go back and have a look at the back catalogue and you'll find that as well. How about washing the wax after you use it, Mickey D? Yes, pretty easy. All I do is under a running hot water tap, just scrape the bits of cheese off. And if worse comes to worse, just use a toothbrush, just gently, and it gets rid of any cheese residue on the wax. And then you just simply melt it again and bring the temperature up to over 70 degrees Celsius. Don't go over 90. It just doesn't need to be that hot. And when it comes in contact with the cheese, it'll kill most of the bacteria or molds that may be lurking there. Okay. Oh, how far out am I? Where are we? Ministry of Yar, Fellowship of Yar Ministries. Question: what are your thoughts on making mozzarella out of powdered milk? I haven't tried it, so unfortunately my thoughts wouldn't count. I don't know if you can. I have seen a video where you can on YouTube, so it may be best to go and check that out. Type my phone. Fair enough. How can I do any of this when I just live in an apartment? I don't know if Santiago's still on the line, but he makes really successful cheeses, and he lives on the 60th floor of an apartment block in Hong Kong. So don't you be telling me that you can't make cheese in an apartment. Of course you can. You make cheese anywhere. Start off with the fresh ones. You know, you don't need to age them at all. Faye, thank you for answering our questions. I made cheese for first time halloumi. Follow your video, but it ended up super salty. Is there a way to make it less salty? Yes, don't put as much salt on it. There's my tip for the day. That's it's about as simple as it is. Just sprinkle half a teaspoon on each piece of halloumi. I wouldn't put much more. Yes, it is a very super salty cheese, unfortunately. That's what it's like. Faye, no, we've done that one. Robert, I got a supply of raw milk, Jersey cows, tried 2 cheeses, but not get any setting. Any advice, please? Good question. You should get some setting, especially with raw milk. In fact, it should set better with raw milk than with pasteurized milk. Try adding a little bit more rennet. Depends on how strong your rennet is that you're using, Robert, as well. I use 200 IMCU rennet. So have a look at what the manufacturer says yours is as well and adjust accordingly. I'd start off adding 25% more just in case and go from there. Mickey D says, hi guys, get behind this little business. Great service and love it. Thanks, Mick. I appreciate it, mate. Mick has put in some great orders in the shop from Tasmania, and we got it there quick smart. Rizla, don't know if anybody else has asked, but what's your all-time favourite cheese? They're all my favourite. I know that's a bit of a cop-out, but there's only one I found that I haven't liked, and that was my very overripe St. Marcelin. All the rest, they're fantastic. All cheese is fantastic. My full-time favourite. Look, if you had to nail me down, I'm quite partial to a well-ripened washed rind cheese. Tilsit was one of my favourites that I made. So's Caerphilly, but look, they're all great. They're all a nice blue, fantastic. You can't go past it. I can't. Mama says I can't watching your life live. Hope you answer my question. I couldn't understand your question. Sorry, Mohammed. Chris is bliss. Eat some cheese. I don't have any. It's breakfast. I haven't had cheese for breakfast yet. Kim found cashew burt. Well done. Lyndall, hello. How are you? Hello. It's first time on live chat or lost your videos. Thank you very much, Lyndall. Have you ever made a huge wheel? Says Mickey D. That double Gloucester that I made, that I showed a picture of. Where is it? Just there. That's made from 12 litres of milk. That's the biggest cheese I've attempted so far. So it's just the mould size is usually the issue, and the pot. I've only got a 15-litre stock pot that I make my cheese in. You know, you just scale it as much as you like. But that's the biggest I've made, and I think that's weighed in at the moment at about 1.4 kilos, which is pretty good. So that's a nice big cheese. Okay. Where are we up to? Wabberslow. I bought some aged cheese over the weekend from a creamery I found. A little sour on the texture like Parmesan. I liked it, but family not so much. Oh, that's no good. Have you ever made brie? I tried once. It broke in half. Jean Francois, but I'm going to try it again soon. Oops, aged for 5 years. Well, that's why I'll be so sharp, I reckon. Wabbit Slayer. Santiago, long question. Have made Cheshire culture with old blue cheese deleted in milk. This was Sunday cheese is drying now. I'll leave for 6 weeks. I was planning to backpack it. Question is, should I pierce it 5 days before I leave? Yeah, look, as soon as you backpack at Santiago, you're going to exclude all the oxygen, obviously, and blue mold needs oxygen to grow. So you won't get any blue growth at all. I would pierce it 5 days before, at least you get a little bit of blue growth, but ideally it needs 10 to 15 days for the blue to start to flourish. So you may have a bit of an issue there. Oh, look, I've caught up. Dumo, TBAC. TBAC. No, I don't know. Why would he want to make something that tastes like crappy commercial cheese? I don't understand. Um, Fellowship of Yah Ministries, thank you for your answer, Gavin. You have motivated me and my family to make cheese. Thank you very much. I hope lots of the reason I do these live chats is to encourage curd nerds throughout the world to make their own cheeses. It's good fun. I really enjoy making cheese, so I couldn't see why anybody else wouldn't enjoy making cheese. Saren says hi from Michigan. Gavin, question for you about pressing fresh raw kefir. Any recipes, coatings, or tips? Pressing fresh cheeses. Oh, one fresh cheese that you can press is ricotta salata. If you want a grating cheese, whip up some ricotta using your favourite recipe. Add a couple of tablespoons of salt. It's very salty, ricotta salata, and press it. I think about last time I used about 2 kilos of pressures, not a lot, so it's about 5 pounds roughly. Just on top, and leave that for 24 hours, and that'll press into quite a solid little block. And you can then let it create a rind naturally and harden up as a grating cheese. So that's one of the few. And queso fresco's ones I've pressed as well. That's delicious as well. Raw kefir cheese, I haven't made any, and I don't have any recipes, unfortunately. Robert, I'm using Mad Millie Rennet tablets. Yes, Mad Millie Rennet tablets have a IMCU of 60, which is probably why you are having some issues, Robert. Just to Rennet 4 litres of milk the other day, I had to use 2 of those tablets from the kits. The fresh cheese kit has Mad Millie Rennet tablets. So, yes, they're very light on rennet. I recommend that you get some liquid rennet. It doesn't matter where from, but get some liquid rennet. It works a lot better. Well, nothing against the Mad Millie tablets. They work if you use double. Like I said, I used 2 tablets for 4 litres of milk, and it's set just to what I would recommend a good curd set. So, yeah. Eduardo, do you have a favourite cheese? I think I've been over this one. Let's go. Tilsit, blue cheese, Caerphilly. They're all my favourites. Every cheese is my favourite. Hi-Fi, when you cold smoke a cheese, what are appropriate woods to use? I've heard that, and I haven't done any cold smoking myself, but I have heard that apple wood, mesquite, I think that's how you say it, don't flame me, which is a wood from the south part of the US, has a very strong flavour, so maybe avoid that. Cherry wood, and hickory, if you want a really, hickory flavour. I can't think of the right term to use, but yeah, the apple's usually what they use for smoking most cheeses. Okay. Mickey D, I think I've talked to the missus about trying one of your kits from Soap and Candle. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Mickey D. Anna from the UK wants to know, have you made reduced fat cheddar cheese? She does not have an account. I'll have to chat. Blasphemy, Anna. We don't make reduced fat cheeses here. we embrace the fatness of the cheese because that's what creates the flavour. No, I don't. If you want to reduce fat cheese, stick to making fresh cheeses, because by nature those fresh cheeses are lower in fat because they're not as concentrated. They haven't been pressed out of a lot of milk. Usually fresh cheeses are made from about 4 litres of milk. The smaller ones I make anyway. A lot less fat in them. So fresh cheese if you want a low-fat alternative, and if you want a high-fat alternative, then go for the harder cheeses because they've used lots of different milk. Lots of milk. Quantity is what I'm talking about. Thanks for your question, Anna. I appreciate it. Okay. Zabek, good night, my friend. Unfortunately, must go to sleep. I know it's late in some places. Don't forget there'll be another show tonight at 7:30 p.m. my time. That's GMT minus 10. So figure that out. I think Europe time it's about 11 a.m. So don't forget you can get up and check that one out. McNugget Minecraft. How does an average video cost to make? Well, it's the cost of the materials, obviously. My time usually takes about a day to make a cheese, a good one anyway. Um, I don't know what cost do you put on time. If if you want to put a cost on it, I don't know, $100. But you got all the equipment and all that sort of stuff as well. So uh, you'd have to um, you'd have to account for all that over all the cost of the equipment you use as well. Anyway, down to Mickey D. Have you thought about acquiring curd cutters for the shop? I need one badly. Is that the curd heart, Mickey? I think. Um, yeah, I've thought about it. I thought about making them myself, even. But the ones I use, I got from a lovely man called David, who lives in Canada. And yeah, he I think he's still around somewhere. I don't know if he watches the live chats, but David made two curd cutters for me out of the wood is maple wood. Funny about that, coming from Canada. Nice hardwood, and it's using fishing wire, strong fishing wire, at 1 centimeter, about that much, 1 centimeter, which is oh, I don't know, just under half an inch intervals, and that cuts the curds very well, and it suits most cheeses, which is good. But yeah, I'll have to have a think about it because I do realise that um, a lot of people do it, need one basically. Apple bark and hickory work well together. There was a comment about Africa there, but Kim got rid of it before I could read it. Um, Thank you, Mr. Weber, for all you do here. My wife thinks I may be going crazy, but says do what you want. Anyway, got to go. But I'll watch it on YouTube later. See you later, mate. See you later, Rabbit Slayer. Um, okay, I'm at the bottom, I think. Bottom of the questions. So the questions are nearly live. So if anybody has any more, we've got what's that? 18 minutes to go for the show, or we can cut it short if nobody has anything else. Um, Toucan, I think that's how you say it. Hi, Gavin. I have a question. I really can't get my hands on any cultures, so I'm planning to make some. Have you ever made some yourself? I have. I made a provolone once, which I still haven't put the video up, which is the second time I had to go at it. I made that with a yogurt culture, so I just reused some yogurt culture. But I actually did make the yogurt using a very tangy yogurt starter culture. So technically, I made the cheese with a yogurt culture, but I had to make the yogurt myself using starter culture. If that makes sense. But go grab yourself a book by David Asher called The Art of Natural Cheese Making. It talks about how to make your own cultures and all that sort of stuff. Do you ever use beeswax? Oh, only when I'm waxing my legs. Hopefully you're talking about waxing cheese. Saren, pros and cons. Yeah, it's expensive. Um, Pros, yeah, it's very flexible. It works well. Um, Most cheese waxes, though, are microcrystalline waxes because they're more flexible. Beeswax tends to go really, really hard. But if you can get, but I suppose it depends on where you are. It may be soft if you live in the tropics or something like that. So yeah, use beeswax if that's what you can get your hands on to wax it. That'll be fine. Why is cheese fail if heated in aluminium pot? That's because aluminium is a reactive metal and it imparts a metallic flavour on the milk, and it also inhibits the renneting, so the coagulation action of rennet, so that's why they fail. Please make a video on Epois cheese. Apparently it's very stinky. I don't know if Kim will let me. Kim, you can chime in, but yeah, give it a go. When can we expect that video? I don't know. Whenever it happens. Still helpless. So funny. Thanks for you. That's okay. Kim's got a cheesy fact. One of the British film industry's earliest hits, considered the very first ever science documentary, starred a piece of Stilton cheese mites, outraged cheese manufacturers and caused screams of terrified delight amongst audiences. I'll see if I can get a copy of. Sure, it's got to be on YouTube somewhere. But 1903, great film. Rebs, good morning, good evening from Scotland. Really enjoy the questions and love your videos. Trying to whack my brains for a question not already covered. Hey, it doesn't matter if it's been already covered. Probably start of the show. Anyway, I better get to bed. Nearly 12 here in England. Rizla, hey, don't forget to check out the show, which will be about 10 a.m. your time tomorrow for you. So yeah, we've got another show this afternoon or this evening. Wax your legs, yeah. Very funny, Saran. Mickey D, first waxing of Gouda was a failure. Cheese got too warm, I think. In one vid said freeze it for 15 minutes. And I think it said an hour. What's a good average? Look, I think pop it in the freezer for about 30 minutes. So it doesn't actually freeze. It just goes really cold. And your wax will adhere to the cheese really quickly. Yeah, don't make the wax too hot. Don't go over, but between 70 and 90. But don't boil the wax. It doesn't need to be that hot to go on, and that way your cheese won't get that hot either, Mickey. Amberlyn, I own a cow, so I get raw milk daily. Do you have any tips for using raw milk for cheese making? Yes, I do. If you trust the source of your milk, and it's your cow, so you obviously do, there's probably no need to pasture it. Remember, there's lots of nice native flora or bacteria that live, lactic bacteria that live in your milk. So you'll get a richer flavour. It'll be amazing. Just use 10% less rennet. That way you won't get cheeses that are bitter, because all the recipes that I use are for pasteurized milk. And also you won't need to add any calcium chloride, because the structure of the milk will be perfect for cheese making. Now, just make sure that when you're aging, I wouldn't recommend it for fresh cheeses because they can get infected with things like salmonella and listeria and all that sort of stuff. Depends on how you handle it. Keep it below 4 degrees, it's okay. It's the aged cheeses that are the best. So here in Australia, Food Standards Australia recommend, so actually they don't recommend, they force you to, when you're using raw milk, you can produce cheeses that have been cooked. The curds have been cooked over 48 degrees Celsius, if I remember rightly. So things like Romano, Parmesan, Emmentaler, stuff like that. And also have to be aged at 10 degrees Celsius and for more than 60 days. And apparently that kills all the bad bacteria with all the extra lactic acid that has been produced, and low in moisture, because it's the moisture that helps stuff from breed. So hopefully, Amberlyn, that helps. Kim's got a question. It featured a scientist inspecting a piece of ripe Stilton under a microscope, only to discover hundreds of mites crawling and creeping out in all directions. Must have been a pretty gnarly piece of Stilton. Anyway, tastes nice. It probably wasn't mites, so I think it would be bacteria or mold. Anyway, Tugan says, one more question. I really want to make Roquefort cheese, but I can't find any blue mold. Is there somehow I can use Roquefort cheese? Yes, you can. You can get some of the blue out of the Roquefort, scrape a bit of that out of your cheese. But to make true Roquefort cheese, don't forget they use 100% sheep's milk. So if you can get yourself some sheep's milk, then you'll make true Roquefort. You can also breed Penicillium Rock 40, which is um, the mould, on a piece of rye bread. There are techniques on how to do it. There might even be some YouTube videos, but certainly there is a technique in David Ash's book. And I'm sorry to flog it, but it is a very cool book for people who don't have access to cultures normally and don't have access to the types of molds that commercial cheesemakers or home cheesemakers can now get in those, little sachets that we buy. So yeah, that's a very good solution. Go and check it out. Good book. Dr. Hands, I have 3 cheeses aging now. I added commercial cheese as culture in them. Is there anything I should think of when I do that? Look, technically, they probably work, but I've never heard of anybody reusing cheese as the culture themselves. I have as the mold, like I just said with Tugan's question. As far as rebreeding the mold, that's fine, but rebreeding the starter culture, usually most of it's gone because it's converted the lactic acid and then it dies off because of the high acidity. I don't know if they'll work out. But anyway, best of luck if they do. Dr. Hands, then yeah, tell us in the next live chat. That'll be fantastic. Tuhan. Sorry. Sorry, got it wrong. Mick, you got some great raw milk from a dairy, but I'm very tempted to use calcium chloride. Should I resist? Look, it doesn't really matter. It just adds more calcium, Mick. If you don't think that it'll set a proper curd, then add a little bit of calcium chloride. Look, it's only 2 mils. It's not going to kill the cheese. Rebs, what are your thoughts on animal versus vegetable rennet? Do they make a difference? Do they make a very different quality of product? I've never tried animal rennet in all these years. I've never got around to it. Apparently, if you're aging a hard cheese, it makes it less bitter if you use animal rennet. But these days, most cheeses are made with vegetarian rennet. Commercial quantities anyway, because they try to cater for vegetarians. So you will find most commercial cheeses are made. They'll say it on the packet anyway. Most commercial cheddars anyway, I would say, here in Australia and overseas as well. But animal rennet is used extensively in most Italian cheeses. They don't skimp on that. And in some cases, so they'll use calf, kid, piglet, all those sorts of rennets. They usually tell you what type of animal it came from. Depends on where you buy it and what the quality of cheese is. Anyway, I foolish one. Cheap milk I buy here in New Zealand, 3 litres, has a very yellow.
I just lost you. I don't know whether everybody else did.
It's all right. It's still going.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, the moderator said she lost me. Refresh your page. Okay. What thoughts on... Oh, sorry. I'll get back to my question. I foolish one. Cheap milk I buy here in New Zealand has very yellow cast. It sets well, almost too well with 8 litres and only 2 milli tablets. The curds look like your cheddar. Butter fat content is high. Yes, it's depends on what they graze on as well, because the yellower it is, the more beta carotene is in the milk that's flowed through from the cow, which is from a very rich meadow or pasture. So I foolish one, that's probably what it is. And ease off on the rennet if you think it's setting too hard, because too much rennet can cause a very dry cheese, and some cases it can add bitterness to the final cheese as well. Hi-Fi, I heard a rumour that bacteria found in Limburger cheese is the same bacteria that make your feet smell. That is correct. It's 100% correct. It is true. Brevibacterium linens is actually found on your feet and makes that foot odour. Here's a funny story. I think I've got time. 5 minutes. They reckon that the Trappist monks in medieval times invented wash rind cheeses, or ones like Limburger. And the monk washed his socks in the milk, and they got a red rind all over the cheese. How true that is, I don't know, but yes, it is very similar bacteria. Where are we? Rebs, thanks. Interesting. Sort of thought you'd be an animal Rennet man. Nah, I'm not like a mountain man or anything like that. I'm a bit of a cheese making vegetable Rennet sort of guy. Oh, Kim's back. Thanks, Kim. Thomas, hey Gavin, if you could only have cheese based from milk of one animal, cow, sheep, which one would you choose? I would say cow. I grew up on a dairy farm. Love the cows. They're fun. But yeah, you can make a very large range of cheeses with cow's milk. I think traditionally that's what most manufacturers use these days anyway. It is, I like yellow colour, and that not from adding an arto, but if you can get really rich milk, like I Foolish One from New Zealand said, then it's amazing. It just, when I make goat's cheese, it's just so white. It's the whitest cheese. Similar to my goat bloomy. Look how white that is. That is just amazing. And that hasn't yellowed at all. That's sitting there, even though that's a bit of a disaster where the some of the curds is flowing out of the bottom there. Anyway, it has worked out, and I am turning them still. But yeah, it's the colour. I like the yellowish colour. And Mickey D, he's going now. That's good. Thanks, Mick. We'll see you later. We've got 4 minutes to go. I've just got some final housekeeping. So don't forget that if you want to support the show, that live shows we do here, we've got some cheese making videos coming up this weekend. I've got no unboxing videos unless I do a vegan one today, but I'm going to make tofu today. But we'll play that on the normal weekend video release. But if you want to support the show, don't forget that Super Chat's always available down there, little dollar sign. That's a donation. Most of it goes to me. Also, that you can support the channel via Patreon. I don't know if Kim's got the Patreon link there. She might have that in there. And that's just a monthly donation, as little as $1 US, and that most of that goes to us to keep the channel financial and flowing and all that sort of stuff, the gear that we have to buy and the internet speed we have to get to make these live videos. So it's a fairly hefty fee on the internet per month to get live chats this good quality. Also, don't forget we've got a merch store as well where you can buy lovely cups and t-shirts like I wear. I get a very small percentage of that. Also, that you can also buy stuff from our store, littlegreenworkshops.com.au. If shipping's not too extraordinary for overpriced, for international customers. But those here in Australia, we offer now free shipping over if your order is $125 or over, which is pretty easy to do if you're buying a cheese kit. So free shipping Australia-wide for orders over $125. It's a recent occurrence. I think we started that on the 1st of July, and that has been very popular. Poor old Kim is run off her feet packing parcels, but don't let that deter you. Get onto that. Yeah, free shipping, pretty cool. We've managed to do that by changing our business model. Anyway, last question. I'm lactose intolerant. How do you make cheese that plays into that? Look, I won't be able to answer that in the time we have left. Try lactase. You can actually add it to your milk to make the lactose split into galactose and glucose, which you can absorb no problems at all. Anyway, yes, keeps you busy. Yes, it does. All that packing keeps Kim busy and out of trouble. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, Curd Nerds. Another show tonight, 7:30 p.m. GMT -10, so that's Australian Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for watching, everybody, and really appreciate it. All right, see you later, Curd Nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds.